All right. Welcome. My name is Robert. Today we're going to be looking at how to grow a business according to Tim Ferriss. Let's look at what he has to say, and then I'll kind of wrap up and give you my comments on that. And that'll be it. Enjoy.
All right, so we've got an episode here. Ask Gary Vee show. Tim Ferriss is on, and they get a caller asking about how to grow her business. Let's listen to the question, and then we'll listen to the answers and take it from there.
Ferriss.
Oh my God, I'm losing my...
Go ahead, what's the question?
So my question is, a few months ago, I actually quit my corporate job because I was just not happy there, started a VA company, and within 2 months, replaced my corporate salary, and
Wow.
am doing really well. I'm billing out like 8 hours a day and working on weekends, and now I'm looking to scale my business and hire on maybe my own assistant or subcontractors underneath me, and I'm just trying to figure out how to do that, maintain, the expected level of quality that I put out, and also enhance the positive relationships with my clients because they do put a lot of value in me and trust. I mean, I have access to email accounts, social media accounts, credit cards, everything. And I just want to kind of keep that same level of quality and grow my business because I want to be more successful and grow.
I totally understand. I got some thoughts. I'm going to let Tim jump in.
Yeah, I have a few thoughts just because I've spent so much time with one foot in the VA world. I would say that there's a book called The E-Myth Revisited. I would take a look at that just in terms of systematizing how you train. And just for the big picture and longer term view, I think that would be useful. There's also a book called Built to Sell that will allow you to think about building a business that is not dependent on you as a bottleneck. Even if you never sell the business, it's a useful set of checkboxes. And just on the simplest level, I would say you need to run background checks. Certainly on people. It's a very simple process, but as a baseline, before you even consider someone, you should run background checks. And then there are two components, I would say, for training and quality assurance, to ensure that you're not doing it in a one-off fashion where you have to continually say the same thing, is create various documents and videos that can be used to train other people. So if you have a particular way of, say, parsing email, going through someone's inbox, determining what's important and what isn't, consider using a program like ScreenFlow, where you can capture all of that and walk someone through in real time how you are, say, clearing and categorizing someone's inbox. And then that video can in turn be used to train 100 people ultimately if it came down to it. And then last, I'll try to keep this short, but
This is a domain that you built. I mean, this is your more qualified answer here.
I've seen companies built and self-destruct in this space quite a few times.
Because a lot of them popped up after a 4-hour work week.
A lot of them popped up.
And they all pinged you.
Yeah, or I gave them the hug of death by promoting them, and then they couldn't maintain the quality. They tried to scale too quickly. So the secret to scaling effectively, I think, in a business like this is to scale very, very slowly in the beginning.
That's it.
And do not be in a rush to hand your clients off to someone else. What I would encourage you to do, and I've seen this done elsewhere, is bring someone in on, say, calls, even if you don't do calls, consider incorporating them in a temporary way, so that they can handle low-level, low-sensitivity tasks for someone else and prove to be very fast and very, very reliable. And then as the trust develops between the client and this supplemental VA, you can talk to the client about having them handle more in the interest of having better response time and higher quality.
So that's the first part of his answer, I guess, and very interesting stuff here that I 100% agree with. There's another section in here that I know he kind of elaborates on this with a very practical piece of advice, so let's try to find that.
That you could have, which may be part of the impetus or dream related to building this business. I would say a year from now, try to schedule 4 or more weeks where you are not part of the system. And in other words, if you schedule at least 4 weeks, it has to be at least 4 weeks, off the grid where other people are making decisions for your business, what that means is prior to leaving on that vacation to Spain or wherever it might be, you have to put systems in place, rules, policies, people, etc., that will allow you to do that without everything falling apart. And those systems then outlive the vacation, and you come back
100%.
and that helps you then to scale because you've proven that you are not the bottleneck for every and all decisions. But you have to force that. If you just say, I'm going to make an effort to build it, that's generally not going to be enough. But if you've pre-committed to yourself and your boyfriend, maybe even other people in your family, you've bought plane tickets, now you have accountability. And that's very, very, I've seen it be very helpful for entrepreneurs who want to scale, but not to do so by bleeding out their eyeballs.
And now that we're just going high level, we're just really
All right, Gary. Loves to talk, eh? We'll get to Gary Vee in this article later on. This is about Tim Ferriss and his thoughts on how to grow a business. Obviously, we've got a case here of a one-man band, one-woman band, and she wants to expand. Tim's thoughts around how she should scale is obviously, he said, to start slow, but I think to kind of summarize and get to the core of what he was talking about was the foundation. If you don't have the foundation in place, you're not going to be able to scale. And he talks about giving companies the hug of death, and I've heard him elaborate on that. So what he means is, he's Tim Ferriss, he's got a massive audience. If he finds a service or something that he loves, so many times in his past he's recommended it and just completely ruined that business because his audience will all go check it out. They'll start buying the thing, and before you know it, this small little company is now overwhelmed and the service starts deteriorating because they don't have the support and they don't have the systems to scale. So he calls it the hug of death because he's doing them a favor on the surface, but it ends up being, death for that company. So I think that's super interesting. He's really focusing here on the systems, the core of setting yourself up to be able to scale something. And he talked about systematizing your training. I personally find this very interesting because not only do I see this as part of a kind of requirement to scale, but it's also a huge time saver. In my video production business, this is something that I've done where we systematically train our clients. When we get a client who's never produced a video before, they come to us and we've got script writers, we've got speaker voices, we've got animators, we've got project managers. They've never gone through this process before. So the same questions come up all the time and the same mistakes are made all the time. Too many chefs in the kitchen, clients bringing in 3-4 people to give feedback on a script is a total nightmare. So what I've done personally is I use Basecamp for project management, and I've recorded videos kind of like this where I'm educating the client. I'm saying, here's what's going to happen now. Here's why you need to do this. Here's why you don't need to do this. Here's why you should only have one, absolute maximum 2 people to give us feedback because it'll, screw everything up. So yeah, we've got documents and videos and things like that. And I've also got mostly videos where I train my staff on how to do certain tasks. So when we replaced our project manager, I'd already trained my first project manager, so I was able to pretty much just send him the YouTube link and he would be able to just watch that and learn how to do a certain task that, saves me a bunch of time. So this is, as far as foundation goes, this is crucial. And I love the 4-week off the grid the 4-week off the grid challenge, I guess you could call it, where Tim says you should schedule, and he's saying a year from now, schedule 4 weeks off the grid. You cannot be part of, the business during those 4 weeks. And what that does is it forces you to set up systems and people to effectively handle everything without you. So the systems are things like, the training that we talked about. So for a client, for example, we could automatically have the client being trained rather than us doing it or sending emails. And then the people one, I think, is an interesting one because that's can be a little trickier, and I think that's where kind of rules come into play. So something that I heard Tim talk about before that he doesn't actually talk about in this particular interview is how he gave his assistant some freedom to make decisions, because a lot of the financial decisions that he was being asked to spend his time on were very small financial decisions. So he put this rule in place where he said to his assistant, if it's $100 or less, I don't want to hear about it. You make the decision. He had a PayPal account or something, and then Tim got a report kind of at the end of the week or at the end of the month or something, where he would log all the decisions that were taken that had financial payments kind of included in that. So I think that's super interesting, and that's something that I've implemented myself, and I personally struggled with this on a practical level, I remember, because I didn't want to give my project manager my PayPal account because it was tied to my Amex and my credit card, business credit card. So I didn't do this for a very long time because of that one little hang up. And then one day I was just like, dude, you're an idiot. Just create a new PayPal account, deposit X amount of money in there. Don't link it to a bank account. Don't link it to a credit card. Just have a PayPal account and you can deposit money into it as much as you want. And then you give access to your project manager that way. That way there's no risk of them ever screwing you over. At most, what they could do is spend the money that's in the account, but that's it. So on a practical level, I found that to be very helpful. And I'm gonna guess here because I haven't recorded the other videos yet, but I believe that Tim Ferriss' advice is something that's pretty close to me personally, because I'm huge on automating and saving myself time and setting up systems and things of that nature. So I think this is a very interesting piece of advice as far as how to grow your business. I guess it's not so much how to actually grow it, it's more about how do you set up the foundation to allow you to grow the business.
Boom, there you have it. Hope you liked that video. I want to hear your questions and your comments. What did you like, dislike, and also what do you want to see more from me in the future? Whether you're watching this on YouTube or you're reading a blog post that I've written, tell me, what should I be looking at next? What kind of questions would you like answers to? All right, that's it. Have an awesome day. Talk to you soon.